Hi, Trish here with another video about purple martins, and I'm coming at you today. It is the middle of February 2021, and we are experiencing in Northwest Arkansas a polar vortex. It is currently snowing, and they're expecting it just started this morning, and they're expecting 6 to 8 inches of snow. And the depth of the cold is pretty bad. It's about 5 degrees outside with a wind chill of like a negative 12. And I am worried about the martins. They have been spotted in central Arkansas and in central Oklahoma. And when you look at the spotter map on the website, that just means that one bird has been seen. So I'm hopeful that that doesn't indicate that there are very many birds that have made it all the way up into the United States yet, but there are some, and this cold snap is reaching all the way into the Gulf. And so I thought what I would do is just share a couple of things that you can do if your birds have made it to your house and you have a cold snap. Purple martins don't do well in the cold. They they're rainforest Amazon birds, and so they don't like the cold. So I'm hopeful that the birds that are on their way are going to be okay. But what if they get to your house and then you have a late spring cold snap? And that has happened to us before. The two things that are, of course, an issue is the temperature and then food. When you have a cold snap, the insects are not flying, and so the martins obviously can't eat. They don't eat unless the insects are flying. They only eat on the wing. They don't go onto the ground and eat food. So what can you do if you're, it's mid-March and your scouts are there and you have a 2 or 3 day cold snap? Well, if it's just a 1 day dip in the temperature, you might get down to freezing or something like that, your birds are probably going to be fine. But if you're going to go 2 or 3 even more days, then you might want to do a couple things to kind of help them. So the first thing is when you're talking about temperature. So your martins don't typically hang out inside your martin houses unless they are nesting. Well, when the scouts come back, they're not nesting. They'll go in and out of the holes just to kind of check them out and see which ones they like, but they don't sleep in those holes. They don't sleep, in the cavity. And so how do you get them to go in so that it can protect them from the temperature? Well, you could, there's a couple of things. You could actually heat up like a heating pad and get it really hot, and then take your house down and put that heating pad in one of the cavities, but then seal off the cavity so that the birds can't go into the cavity, but that the radiant heat from that heating pad will help heat up some of the other cavities. And so having that extra heat in there might encourage the birds to go in and hang out inside the house. That's easier to do in a store-bought birdhouse. If you have wooden condos, you can maybe put it in one of the cavities and close it off. It's probably going to be a little harder. There's not a lot that you can do. It's just, it is what it is. The second thing, though, is food. So if the birds go for 24 hours without food, they'll probably be okay. 2 days, you're pushing it. 3 days, that could be bad. So they lose energy. Not only are they trying to stay warm, they're using energy to stay warm, but they are using energy every time they fly, and they can't find any food. So they starve. So what you can do is, when this happened to us a few years ago, we went to Walmart and picked up some live cricket bait. I don't think Walmart carries those anymore unless you live near a fishing area or something, but pet stores have it. Petco, places like that, or bait shops. So you get some live crickets and you stick them in the refrigerator, and they will live and they stay in the refrigerator for, a couple months. But then if you have a cold snap, what you can do, or what we did, was we took those crickets, and my husband went out to the birdhouses and put a cricket into a spoon and then flipped it up into the air. And the first cricket fell to the ground. But then he did the second cricket and one of the martins figured out what he was doing, and the martin swooped down and ate the cricket in the air. And then Roger just sat out there for like 20 minutes, just shooting crickets up into the air, and the martins would come down and swoop down and eat the crickets. And we just did that until they stopped eating. And so, if you in a situation where you have a cold snap that lasts for more than 2 days, you can do that about every 2 days, and that should keep them from starving, and it will help also their heat, trying to keep warm and things like that. So those are just a couple things you can do. I'm planning to go ahead and get myself some crickets here. I can't do anything for the birds down in the south, but it's good to have a little backup container of crickets in your fridge just in case you have a late spring cold snap. So there, yeah. So that's kind of what you can do. The crickets, I'm sorry, the martins are on my mind today as I'm thinking about how cold they must be down there in the Gulf, and hopefully, in the spring it won't affect too many colonies, and we'll get plenty of birds. So stay warm, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.